intro play? I don't think it did. Well, let's go straight into it then. Welcome to Over the Line, the football debate show by fans for fans. My name is.
You just muted yourself.
You just muted yourself.
This is what happens when Arsenal lose.
This is what happens when you're trying to roll live, yeah. Like, because the intro is literally just played in the middle of my opening monologue. So I'm going to say that again. It's Over the Line, the football debate show by fans for fans. My name is Dave O. Okay, host of the show, and joining me this evening we got Gav, we got Nigel, we got Cyril. We potentially may have Kunle joining us later, and potentially we may have John making his return to discuss all things Liverpool. However, I'm not holding my breath on that. Let's roll with who we got now. Gents, welcome. How are we?
Good evening.
Good.
Good evening.
It's good. 3 points. No, put your hands up if your team got 3 points.
Yes, 3 points indeed.
Those ones, remember them was how you got. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, let's get straight into it. I'm going to read out the results of the show, and then from there we're going to dissect the Arsenal game. So starting with the results, Aston Villa beat Arsenal 2-1. Last kick of the game, Emi Buendia breaking Guna's hearts around the world and sending the rest of the Premier League into celebration, especially Man City. Next up, Bournemouth drew 0-0 with Chelsea at home. Everton beat Nottingham Forest 3-0 at home. Man City went on to beat Sunderland 3-0, which on the face of it, you kind of sit there, you go, yes, of course, but Sunderland have been really good this season, so that is a really good result. Newcastle beat Burnley 2-1 at St James's Park. Tottenham went on to beat Brentford 2-0 at White Hart Lane. I'm not even sure that's what they're calling it anymore. Who cares anyway? Leeds drew 3-3 with Liverpool. Liverpool's bad run of results continues, causing Mo Salah to have a bit of a meltdown. We will be touching on that one on this show. On the Sunday games, we saw Brighton draw 1-1 with West Ham. Fulham losing 2-1 at home to Crystal Palace. And on the final game of the weekend, saw Wolves lose 4-1 at home to Manchester United. Now, I have to temper expectations and say that is the worst Premier League team that we've seen in history, and that is according to the stats. But Arsenal have them next, and we like to give teams form. So I'm not gonna go too hard on Wolves there. But congratulations to Manchester United for winning that particular match. So we're going to go right back to the beginning. We're going to start off with discussing Arsenal's loss at home to Aston Villa. I normally throw this over to one of the gents, but I'm going to go first on this one. I'm not going to go for too long. I will come to you, Gavin, after this. But I watched that game, and it looked to me as if Arsenal were quite leggy. Sorry?
I'll go last. Leave me till last, please.
Anyway. Yeah, all right, that's fine. That's fine. So it looked as if Arsenal were quite leggy in that match. Over the last week or so, or we played Tottenham, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Brentford, which turned out to be a tougher game than we expected, and then obviously away at Aston Villa. So, and in those games, I believe our midfield, especially, we've been playing Zubamendi more than I feel comfortable with. He's been doing consistent 90 minutes week in, week out. Rice has also been doing consistent 90s. And in that game against Aston Villa, I remember saying to Robert, Cyril, Gav, you know him, said to Robert the day before when I found out that it was a 12:30 kickoff that I don't believe we're going to get anything out of that match because we historically struggle away at Villa anyway, although we did win there recently 2-0. But Emery, knows how to play against us. Early kickoff. We've had back-to-back high intensity games. Villa are on a good run of form, like the form team league at the moment. 5 wins on the bounce now, and it just felt like it was just going to be one of those days where nothing was really going to go our way. And lo and behold, the match plays out that way. Now, I'm not going to make any excuses about the injuries that we've had. Didn't have Gabriel, didn't have Saliba. That's our first choice backline. We've built a squad for a reason. But we just looked leggy, and Aston Villa were up for it, bang up for it. Played really well. Watkins was a thorn in our side, as was McGinn in midfield. Thorn in our sides. Cash from right back bombing on. Villa played well. Morgan Rogers was a little bit quiet, but you know Villa played well. They got the win, but in the match on a draw may have been a fair result, but you can't argue with Villa winning. It's just the way they've gone and won that match right in the last minute was an absolute dagger. So we need to bounce back from that. Okay, but when you couple that with the fact that Chelsea drew with Bournemouth and then Man City have gone on and won, Liverpool drew as well, Man United won. It's just brought everybody a little bit closer now. Okay, so City now sit 2 points behind us, and I do wonder what that's going to do to our player psyche because we've kind of been here before, haven't we? We're City are breathing down our necks, and you think based on the way the fixtures timings have worked, Arsenal can win every single game for the rest of the season. But at some point, if Man City also do the same, they will be going top because I believe they play before us quite often. So we've got that. We've got that to contend with now. City can at some point be top of the league, having been at some point behind us. I kind of do wonder how we're going to bounce back from that. I've got every confidence we can bounce back, but here we are. We're 2 points clear. Once upon a time, it was 7 clear of the challengers. We now sit 2 points clear of City, and it'll be interesting to see how we do react to that. So, Nudge, I'm going to come to you first, and then Cyril will go to you, and then Gav. Off the back of that, so what is your impression now of how this title race is looking? Have City made themselves favourites, or is it just a blip that Arsenal have had, and you still expect us to, return to form, so to speak? Nigel, you there?
I think he just froze.
I think he just froze. You're still live. Give us your thoughts on the game and what this means for the title race.
I mean, personally, there's no title race because Arsenal's already won it in December now. I guess we are in December now. So there's no title race there. And obviously, like what Pep said, when he meant that, the other teams were going to get, stronger. It didn't mean his team when he spoke about that the other day. But here's the thing. The thing about the competition and the games and stuff, what you got to also put into perspective whilst saying what you were saying about they look leggy and all that stuff there, you got to remember, so did City played, and a few other teams played as well. There's pretty much similar amount of games as well. So it's not like there aren't teams in and around that Chelsea, in and around that played quite similar, played games, in that same sort of period as well. So, and arguably, if I was to ask, a certain member of the show, who has the best squad, in the world, I know who the answer is, and I'm sure he will answer that they have the best squad in the world. So having the best squad in the world, having so many players that can play in, so like look at all the backup, look at all this, all of those things that we've heard. We shouldn't be talking about leggy. We shouldn't be talking about all of those different things there because you have enough people to be able to rotate and do what needs to be done to be able to win these games. So that's the whole point of having that squad. So I guess moving forward, it's going to be how the players they're actually managed. And obviously, I know you guys have had the injuries, which again, for me, I believe injuries make a big part in what happens. But obviously, I know from previous seasons we weren't meant to talk about injuries, so I don't want to hear nothing about injuries because apparently injuries don't matter if you're on the title race, but injuries don't matter if you're anywhere else in the league. But again, I think injuries are injuries, and it doesn't matter where you are in the league because to stay in the league or to win, it could be the difference between being in Europe or not being in Europe, or injuries could be the difference between you getting relegated or not. So I think injuries for any team should be seen in the same way. But obviously I know from narratives in the past it's only relative when it's at the top. So anyway, but yeah, I think Arsenal now are in a position where they have to now show what champions are made of, and that's the thing. So regardless of what's happening, I think you just have to just do what you got to do, just get the 3 points and move on to the next game. Of course, the media and even more so the fans, right now they're not really responding in the way the noise is not loud. So I remember I saw some guy who was like, let's get behind Arteta. Arteta, you've got this. And I'm like, okay, that's good. I wonder if you lose a couple more games or drop a couple more points, and you go from that 20,000 points to now 2 points, or to maybe being 1 point behind or whatever it may be. I wonder how the narrative changes with the fans and how that puts pressure on the teams, and then getting knocked out of a competition or all those different things there. So again, it could go the opposite way, but it's just going to be interesting to see what happens. But remember, champions are meant to deal with all these different things anyway. So that's my take on it.
Nige, what's your take?
I think we have to give credit here to Aston Villa. I think they were absolutely superb. I think it's not like the first time either that Emery's outdone Arteta. So we shouldn't really sit here and be shocked and disappointment for Emery. It's just standard. This is what he does, isn't it? So we have to give him his flowers and say well done. They outfought, tactically were better. They weren't going. They just wanted. I wouldn't even say they wanted it more. And I mean, no one can sit here and tell me that Arsenal players didn't want to win that game and extend their gap towards the top of the table, as we've been hearing, as Cyril said. So they came to win. And Emery said no. Stats wise, it's not even like it was a smash and grab. Expected goals was over, if you believe in those kind of stats. Everything was off the charts. Everything. There's not any stat that you can look at what Aston Villa posted and say this was lucky. This was tactically outsmarted. They outfought. They showed passion, desire. The crowd was up for everything you'd want from a win, and I think that's 6 in a row or 5 in a row that they've won. So they are the form team in the league, and they're gonna upset a whole heap of. I say upset. They after the terrible start that they had to the season, they're showing that really and truly they're the real deal, and they're going to be a problem for anyone. But like I said, this isn't. I hear what you're saying about injuries and tired legs and blah blah blah, but they beat you last season and stuff like this. So I think we should just accept that they know.
No, I don't think they did the season before.
They didn't beat us last season.
They didn't beat you last season? You sure?
No, they didn't.
Or when is Arteta beaten? How many times has Arteta beaten Emery? I saw stats saying that when it comes to managers, Emery's
They didn't beat us.
I think we beat them 2-0 away last year. We beat them 2-0 away last year and then drew 2-2 at the Emirates.
Oh, then maybe Sky Sports got it wrong, but they said that Emery, when it came to head on, whatever it was, they said that Emery had an upper hand. So maybe I need to have a word with Jamie Carragher about what he said there.
I believe he does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it wasn't a fluke. It's like when you come to town, he knows what to do, innit? So, and they have inferior players to you, and somehow they still manage to outsmart you. So that's what I'm saying. So we this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone.
Best squad in the world.
Yeah. So that's how I see it. But anyway, you weren't going to go throughout the whole season, with only one defeat. That was never going to happen. So you're obviously going to drop points now. Luckily, you've got Wolves, so you're going to bounce straight back, and then you just have to go on your run again. That's it, really.
All the players will be back in time to be able to go on that run, because that's how everything works. Exactly how they predicted that players were not going to be injured this period. I could predict that players will not be injured moving forward. Sorry, just throwing my bit in there.
That doesn't even make sense.
Give us your take, man.
What did he just say? I didn't get what he just said. What did he just say?
I said, I'm assuming, and from what I know, the fans, the ones I'm talking about that are in our groups, weren't predicting these injuries that have been happening.
How do you predict injuries? How do you predict injuries?
But there you go. That's exactly.
But how do you predict? You said we weren't predicting injuries. So how would you predict the injury?
You weren't predicting injuries, exactly. So I mean, you weren't predicting.
You said we weren't. So I'm asking you, how do you predict injuries?
And I'm telling you, it doesn't mean if
okay,
you ask me and you say it louder, it's gonna be a different.
Maybe you're waffling. I was trying to speed you up because we're on limited time here. You get me? So how do you predict injuries?
No waffling over here. I was saying that you guys didn't predict that there would be injuries. And because you don't predict there will be injuries, the same way you're like, oh, well, by May or sorry.
So you answered my question by repeating what you said. How do you predict injuries?
Are you gonna let me finish what I'm saying, or are you just gonna interrupt and then say that and then?
Sorry, go on. I thought your segment was done, but go on.
Well, you asked me the question, bro. So.
But you're not answering it. You're having a monologue. Answer it. How do you predict injuries? It's a straightforward question.
Tell me how to answer, and I'm trying to answer.
But I'm asking you, how do you predict injuries? And you're talking about, you repeated yourself.
Finish what I was saying.
You can't predict injuries. You can't.
Thank you, David. Someone here with sense. You can't predict injuries, but the waffler wants to waffle. Anyway, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, calm. I know you're a bit. I know what you're feeling about the loss the other day, but just relax, friend.
I'm chilling. Top of the league, both of them.
When someone raises their voice, it doesn't seem like they're chilling. But anyway,
I'm top of them, both of them. I'm chilling.
I do remember somebody saying that when somebody is speaking, they gotta let them speak and finish what they're saying. And I'm not.
You're right. Waffle on. Sorry, waffle on. Sorry, you're right. Sorry.
I mean, people are calling names because that's where they get to that point. They get a bit.
You're right. It was me. I said that. You're right. Sorry, waffle on.
My point, the waffle is you can't predict in the same way these same people who can't predict injuries are saying, oh yeah, come next year, all the players going to be on form for the run of da-da-da-da. Well, you can't predict injuries, so therefore you don't know what's going to happen. But these men are talking like, yeah.
Hold on. Cyril, sorry to cut you off. Let me quickly make this point. And then we'll jump to Gav. Right. So just on that point, Cyril, I understand what you're saying. But what I do understand what you're saying, Cyril. But it was just because there was something that you said there, and I know that I said that, so I just need to clarify that. Then we're going to go to Gav. Okay. When I was talking about the march to the end of the season run, okay, what I said was that these players that are now looking to come back, if they can stay fit, and I remember saying if they can stay fit, it should leave us with one of the freshest squads going into that March to end of the season run, because the guys coming back don't have as many minutes in their legs as some others do. Now, when you look at the guys that are coming back, you're looking at guys who are going to be making an impact on that starting 11. Guys like Gabriel, guys like Havertz, right? They're going to make an impact on that starting 11. So when those guys start coming back, then we should, Madueke as well on the wing, we should start having fresh legs, because these guys don't have the minutes in their legs. Now, all of that is the way that I want to caveat that further is by saying it also relies on Arteta rotating. It relies on
managing the minutes.
He's not going to do the rotation. Yeah, exactly. If he's not going to manage the minutes properly, then it doesn't matter who you come back. Man's are going to get run into the ground. On that note, Gav, let's have you give us the final thoughts on this, and then we're going to move on to talking about Liverpool.
There's a question for Gavin before he jumps in. Sorry, quickly. What you said about the rotation. Do you think, or do you trust Arteta to not change for change's sake? Right. So if Ezzy's having a great game, take him off the point. Odegaard, do you trust that you have a manager who won't fall down fall for that trap or that temptation to do that, to disrupt something that's working unnecessarily? That's my question.
But you can't have both. You can't have constant rotation, but then also not change what's working. The screams from the fans was to not take off Saka, who at the time was being lauded as one of the greatest in the world, and people wanted him to have less minutes, which I understand. So we can't have both. We can't have Saka constantly playing because it's working, but also rotate the squad. It's either one or the other. I don't know which side of the fence I sit on, to be honest, because a part of me wants the best players on the pitch all the time, but the other part of me understands that there is going to be burnout, etc. So I don't know how to answer you. I think Nigel's. Oh no, he's blinked. Blink twice if you're okay, Nigel.
Yeah, I'm good. I hope my internet's working.
I thought you froze. You were so still. I thought you froze. Sorry, bro. But yeah, I don't know which side of that fence to sit on. Do we rotate? Like as you said, if something's working, do we take a player out just because we need to rotate, or do we keep the same players constantly and risk burnout? I don't know. Do I trust Arteta? We've had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. Yes, I trust Arteta. Arteta's going to win the league. I'm confident with that. People get upset. Yeah, there's someone sitting above me right now that gets upset if your team if your fans are confident that you're going to win a Premier League trophy, it makes them feel uneasy. It makes them feel uneasy. And then they'll waffle and they'll say stuff to make it sound like you're talking rubbish because you think. Nobody said they won the Premier League in November. Nobody said they won the Premier League in October. I said in August, I think my team's going to win the Premier League. Someone else said in August they thought their team could be in the running for the Premier League. But they started moonwalking before Carnival came. I remember it specifically. But I'm standing on business, 10 toes down, saying we are going to win the Premier League. Now, what it is with these people that are struggling to see that Arsenal are actually on top now and we're the best team in the country, they don't like seeing that because they want to banter and they got nothing to banter about. So what they're doing, they're using the littlest thing, the littlest teeny weeny chance to make fun of our team. And it's here. We lost to Villa. Villa were amazing. Villa were amazing. We had some weaknesses. Big weakness was our centre-backs. The pairing didn't work. We were forced to make changes. That particular pairing didn't work. Show me that we need either one of our generals at the back. Yes, we can swap defenders. Yes, we can rotate in and out. But when both of them are on the injury bench, on the bench, or the injured, we're fucked. I've learnt that this weekend. We're fucked because we look terrible at the back. Going forward, we probably need some work, but we're still going to win the league because our players are going to come back, and it's only November. So if this is the injury crisis and this is the bottling that everyone's speaking of, let's see next weekend. Because United fans, I know we're going to come on to it. United fans are on the timeline celebrating like they just beat prime Barcelona. Wolverhampton are running to be the worst team in Premier League history, and I saw how United were doing. I switched it off after the first goal. I switched it off. I said, I ain't watching this shit. You lot beat a championship team. So imagine when we go there. Sorry, when they come to the carpet. Imagine what they're getting. Look how pissed we were when we conceded that goal. And we're going to be on here next week. Everyone's going to be quiet. No one's going to want to talk about Arsenal next week. I get it. I understand. But what I'm going to say to Arsenal fans, do not be gaslit into thinking that losing 2 games, in all competitions in December proves you're not going to win nothing this season. Because people want us to believe that. People want us to believe that the team that without remember when Gabriel gets injured, we're not going to win anything. Bayern Munich found out about what that's like. We never spoke about that on here. We never spoke about us beating Bayern, but we lose to Villa, who also beat City, who were the only hope for the haters to beat us to the Premier League title. But we're forgetting that bit too. So what I've got a proposition for any Man United fan that's on the screen with me right now. If you're man enough, I've got a bet. There's 4 ways that this thing could go. Arsenal win the league, United finish top 4. Yeah, everyone's happy. Arsenal don't win the league, United don't finish in the top 4. Everyone's sad. But there's two other situations, and I want to bet somebody. If you don't think Arsenal going to win the league, bet me. I want you to bet me, because if Arsenal win the league and United don't make top 4, I'm willing to pay for any one of you two +1 to go to any game at United next season. And if Arsenal do win the league and you lot don't make top 4, you pay for me and my son to go to any Arsenal game of our choice next season. Who wants to take the bet? Because if you don't take this bet, I don't want to hear no talk about Arsenal not winning the league, because you lot don't believe it. Because the only way you're going to pay out is if we don't finish number 1. You lot can finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and we don't finish 1st, and you lot win. So if you really don't think Arsenal are going to win the league, bet me.
So can I? Go ahead.
No. Is it a bet? Yes or no? That's all I want to hear. Then you can go on another monologue. Are we betting? Are we betting against Arsenal in the league? That's my question for you lot.
Well, I just want to know, when we did the predictions and we set expectations for the season, I said Man United to get the 60 points. If your bet was that Man United achieve what I set out.
So you're out. Are you saying you're out? Are you saying you're out? Are you saying you're out? Because you can't lose. Because you can't lose. If Arsenal, listen. Hear my terms again. If Arsenal don't win the league in any of them 4 circumstances, there's only one circumstance you can pay out. That's if Arsenal don't win the league. So if you think Arsenal are not going to win the league, you can't lose. Follow your gut. If you think we're not going to make it, follow your gut and bet me. Same for you, Cyril. If you think Arsenal aren't going to win the league today, bet me. Because that's the only way I can lose. You lot can finish 2nd, I lose. You lot finish 3rd, I lose. You lot finish 4th, I lose. Bet me. My team has to finish number 1. That's the only way I can win.
I'm not a betting man anymore, man. I don't want to bet.
Yeah, you are, because I bet you many a times. My son's
Yeah.
got a whole collection of Arsenal shirts courtesy of you. Don't do that. My son's got a whole collection of Arsenal shirts courtesy of you. Every season we bet, to the point you begged me, you asked me to stop betting you because you kept on losing. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, 2 is the whole collection. Relax. 2 is 2-1. Okay, cool. But here's my
3.
thing.
3. He got 3.
2. But anyway, my thing is this, right? I'm not betting.
I'll bring. You know what? I'm gonna bring the 3 of them next week. Are you betting me or not?
I'm not betting anyone. You, anybody.
David, thank you for having me, sir. Thank you for having me. I've exposed the wafflers. They know we're gonna win the league. They don't want to bet. They don't want to bet. If you want to bet me, bet me. I'm betting you. I'm betting you. Arsenal win the league. United don't make top 4. I'm here. It's recorded. Click me up. Hit me up and play it in May. We're winning the league. You lot ain't doing shit. Click me up and bet me. Come on. Or you're gonna keep waffling. You're gonna keep waffling.
Nothing, mate. Because sorry.
Here comes the waffle, people. Here comes the waffle.
Because you say waffle. What does that mean?
It means are you betting or not? Yes or no? Don't make a big speech. Are you betting or not? Yes or no?
I am not betting no one on anything.
Because you know Arsenal gonna win the league. Because deep down you know it's gonna happen, and it burns you every time we win. And when we do lose, you expose yourself. But we'll have it. We'll have it in May, where you're gonna go very quiet.
Oh, listen. Bottom line is this, right? Okay, shook one's nothing, mate. I ain't spending money on nothing to do with anything other than what I determine.
Oh, so that's because you know we're gonna do it, so you don't want to spend the money. Because if you didn't think we were gonna do it, you wouldn't be thinking about spending the money. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Do I have control over what Arsenal or Manchester United?
It's what you. Oh, so it's about control. Okay, it's what you think, bro. It's prediction. What do you? What does your gut tell you? What did your gut tell you?
My gut tells me there'll be a winner. That's all. That's what my gut tells me. There'll be a winner.
So this is why I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear the chatting on here. I don't want to see the 100 messages in the group chat. If you ain't got the energy live to bet me, I don't want to hear the chat, because every time we lose, every time we drop points for the rest of the season, you're gonna talk all this chat like we ain't gonna do it. We're gonna do it, and you know it. That's why you won't bet me. That's why you're talking about you don't want to spend money on Arsenal, because you know it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. Anyway, I'm done. Thank you, David. Next question, please.
You mentioned different things about whatever, right? I'm not going to gamble nothing on anything that's not in my control. I'm not gambling. I'm not spending money on nothing to do with anything. Not football, not music, not nothing. So I'm not going to change my principle because you want to scream and shout over Arsenal. Like, come on. Oh, sorry.
He's definitely bet me.
Now, because I said I don't want to bet, that means I'm.
He's definitely bet me before, people. He's gonna do this. He's gonna do this martyr thing. He's gonna act like a good old Christian or whatever religion he's gonna pretend to be. He's bet me before. He's definitely bet me before. He's definitely bet me before. I've got the receipts. I've got the receipts. David, please. Can you confirm that Cyril's definitely bet me on who's gonna finish above Arsenal United in the group multiple times? But today you don't bet no more. But today you don't bet no more.
No more means that someone could have been drinking and they stopped drinking. Oh, so you gotta say no, because you drank before. You gotta drink now. You gotta drink now. No, if somebody stopped.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. You're making out like I don't do that. It's not something I do. I mean, I wouldn't bet. It's because you're shook, bro.
I never said that. I said I'm not gonna bet nothing on anything anymore.
My opinion is that you're shook and you know Arsenal gonna win the league. That's my opinion.
And your opinion is okay. You're allowed to have your opinion. Jamie Carragher has an opinion. You know, what does that mean? You know what I mean? You know, Jamie Carragher has an opinion. Gary Neville has an opinion. Like, everyone has an opinion. Like, what does that mean? The bottom line is what we debate is this energy will be better.
I gotta say.
If you win. You're going.
Yeah, that's fine. Like we've got unfortunately we've got no takers for your bet, Gav. That's fine. We've got the evidence here. You know, we are documenting the season via this. We can sort of come back to it at a later date.
And
but
it's beautiful.
Cyril, I gotta say, bravo, because you have teed me up for a wonderful segue by mentioning Jamie Carragher. Now, I'm assuming that we've all seen his interview on Monday Night Football, okay, where he has pretty much tore into Salah. Now, Liverpool have thrown more points away at the weekend, drawn 3-3 with Leeds United. Leeds have played Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool back to back to back, and have come away with a close loss, a win, and a draw. So well done to them. Okay, but Cyril, let's come to you because this is your segue. Salah, what's your take on the situation? I think I know where you stand, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to just air out what it is that you how you feel about the situation and who's in the right or wrong here.
I never agree with a player doing that kind of stuff like that against a club so publicly, and based on what's happening with Liverpool, timing was off. And for sure, he has the ability to be able to speak and say what's on his mind, his own opinion of whatever's going on. But I think when you make yourself bigger than a club, you leave yourself open to people to say whatever they're going to say. Does it mean that it's right or it's wrong? No, not necessarily. But it's just, again, just everyone's going to have a different viewpoint on it. And it just becomes a point of conversations and stuff. And now on the flip side, clearly there's things happening there that obviously has led to what's going on there. Maybe somebody's trying to push for a move or whatever the case may be. Now, my only thing is that I don't really want to say that because obviously I'm out. This is going to be out there and stuff like that. But what I don't agree with is someone like Jamie Carragher. Like Carragher dismantling this guy's career, talking about how he was nothing before he came. He was the worst, whatever, at Chelsea or all that kind of talk there or whatever. I'm like, that's just the amount of disrespect Carragher has given on so many players who've actually accomplished more than he has, in his career is crazy. For somebody who has achieved what he's achieved versus the people he speaks on, and how he dismantles them as a person who is a professional football player as well. I think Carragher plays on that. He's actually a bit more smarter than most people think. I think he is aware that every time he says something, he's going to get more traction. And traction, more clicks, more all of those different things there play a big part in obviously being relevant. And so I think he's playing that villain, like, Mr. person over there was trying to scream and whatever else because he's trying to get, clips and stuff like that. He wants that to be clipped off and, all that kind of stuff. People do that. Then they know what they're doing. And so Carragher, I think, is what falls into that group there, so. But he is, I think I voiced, the thing about it the other day about I don't even view him as a pundit or whatever. That's his title or whatever else. But I posted earlier on about when he spat out that. This is the same guy who spat at a kid, a girl. This is the same guy coming on and talking with chest and talking down on people who have achieved so much for his beloved club or whatever. And he was talking him down before even today. And there's no respect. He has no respect. And he feels like he can say whatever he wants to say, and he knows that. What can you say to him? You're gonna say, oh, because he's a Liverpool legend, he loves Liverpool, so he can say whatever he said. Nah, man. They talk about you never walk alone. He was throwing people under the bus about you'll never walk alone. Like, what are you saying about Mo Salah? Nah, man. So yeah, anyway, you see, I never really get like into this kind of stuff, like get emotional or whatever else. But the guys are, I can't put it out on there. I don't want to be saying things about certain people, but yeah, he's one of those people. Don't rate him at all. So
that's fine. I mean, you might not want to say it because you're a lot. We can all agree you're kinder than I am. I'll say it. Carragher's a cunt, hypocritical cunt. He is. However, he did make some good points yesterday, right? He did make some good points. I've got to give him that. He did make some good points yesterday, especially the part where he said Salah has only come out and spoken 4 times in the 8 years that he's been at Liverpool, and every single time it seems choreographed and it's there to suit his agenda. He was on point when he said that. Nigel, we've not heard from you in a while now after Mr. Man over there and Cyril have been arguing. So let's come to you on this. What's your take on the Salah situation? But give us it more because you're abroad, so you might have a different flavour there. What's the situation been like abroad? Don't tell me this guy's frozen again.
Can you guys hear me? All right, is my internet working?
Go on. Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what do I think? I think that two things can, if you guys can hear me, two things can be true. Should Salah have come out? Wait, before we speak about the speaking out, do you remember a couple of weeks before that, Carragher said, of all the players that he hasn't heard from is Salah. He hasn't heard from Salah. Salah hasn't spoken or anything like that, right? He said that, and he said that live on TV. Okay. And
Yeah,
then
he
Salah
did. You're correct.
speaks,
He did.
and
say that.
because he doesn't like. Because he doesn't like what Salah has said, now he's coming out against Salah. So I also just want to put that out there that just because the man didn't say what you want to hear, you're going to come out against him. But you are begging for him to come out on TV and speak, and he did that. And then you go out and then you go after him. So be careful what you wish for. That's the first thing I want to say. I also want to say two things can be true. You can say, and I said to you, one of the happiest things I still love Ten Hag for, and what I'm glad what Amran did is that all these headline makers in our club, the front page, back page, all the stupidness or the headlines that was coming about my club, I was happy that we got out the majority of those people that were causing those headlines. So I'm grateful for that, and I don't like any player making headlines for my club. So if you're saying, but I think two things can be true. I actually do think that if you listen to what Salah was saying, he was hurt and upset, and if you take the translation or the out and listen to what you're trying to say, he's looking at we had a squad that you inherited from Klopp that was working like a well-oiled machine, and for Salah had fallen out of managers before, but never to this extent, right? It's not like he had never been benched before, and he had that spat with Mane that we all know about, being well documented. But he got on with it, and then produced for Liverpool. And Carragher said something about there was greats of the club like Barnes and Rush and Steven Gerrard. Listen, what those managers were doing, and one of the reasons why what's the guy who missed out on the title, the manager who was trying to retire Gerrard, and it went wrong for him, and he had to. Who was the manager? When Gerrard slipped, who was the manager? Yeah, Brendan Rodgers, right? So he had to deal with an aging Gerrard losing his legs, and then in the end it didn't work out for him, and he had to go. Right? He didn't handle that situation well. But all the other managers that came after, what they did realize is, okay, we're gonna have to reposition you and get the best out of you for what you're able to do. So if this great amazing manager slot sees that he's got a fantastic player with regardless can still finish, and maybe you can't run the wings anymore, then you do what we did with Ryan Giggs and move him inside. What we did with Paul Scholes, we dragged him a bit deeper, where we didn't expose his weaknesses, but maximized all the qualities that he brings to the sides. That's what a great manager would do. But you can't. He's saying, how are you dropping me for 3 games when you've got you saw what happened with Man United, where we had a terrible goalkeeper that was throwing the ball in the back of the net. They got the equivalent of that in Konate and Kirkes, right? So Salah's saying that, wait, hold on, man, you're calling me out, but these guys are literally, no matter what I do anyway, these guys are hemorrhaging goals right now, and you wanna point the finger at me, They also, even though they were winning goals in the 90th minutes or 99th minutes and stuff like this, and just scraping by, but they were scoring, and Ekitike was imperative to that. Slot made the decision to bench Ekitike when he was the most informed player, and tried to blend in Isak, and all these other players that are not performing are players that Slot bought. Okay, he's going to have to revert back more or less to the players that Klopp signed in order to get him through this. So Salah's saying that, hold on a minute, you're coming after me, but wait, mate, you're the one who changed this side, and the players that you brought in aren't working, but yet you want to point the finger at me as I'm the problem, and that's causing the team to come in this rut. Now, if you're saying you want your wingers to track back and follow wingers, then put Salah centrally. There's many things you can do, because you play Verts in so many positions and it's not worked out. So if I was Salah, I'd be like, so how come you can do that with Verts? And then I'm man with who's done all this for you, helped you win a title in your first season, play me central. Carragher saying that Salah shouldn't forget what Liverpool have done for him. In case Carragher forgot also that they didn't even want Salah. If you remember, Klopp was against Salah, and Salah was actually forced upon him. So it's not that Klopp went out seeking Salah. He wanted someone else. I can't remember the player that he wanted. And then their transfer committee bought in Salah. And then Salah's the one who went on performed. And no one at Liverpool expected Salah to do this. So Carragher shouldn't sit there as though they thought that when they signed him from Roma, that they thought they were going to get a man who's going to score 250 goals for him. It was a mutually beneficial relationship. And they both benefited from that. But what he's saying is... and if we don't know what promises that he's speaking of that have been made, but if there are broken promises, then you should be called out. Then you should be called out for it. And now Carragher is saying how you should behave and everything like this. I remember this guy saying, "I'm never going to play for England again" because he was on the bench, right? So this is also a guy who's not a stranger to throwing his toys out the pram when things don't go his way either. I don't remember when he retired from England because he was getting picked because he thought he should have been ahead of John Terry and Rio Ferdinand. So this man has ego too. So let's not forget that. All right. So anyway, like I said, he called for the interview. Salah gave the interview, and even Salah said, "I've given the interview that you called out for, mate, and now you got to come for me on Monday Night Football." And he was correct, and that's exactly what Carragher did. What do I think this is undermined slot? Yeah. Do I think that Salah would have come on TV if other people in that dressing room didn't agree with his sentiment? I think he definitely will have people, followers in that club thinking, "Who is this guy?" And we will see. As a Man United fan, I'm delighted. I'm so happy because no one has any sympathy for us. Cyril said something earlier about when Man United have injuries and we will go for that injury crisis on Ten Hag. We had no sympathy. They're saying, "Ten Hag, get over it, perform." Right. So when Rashford and your Sancho's and everybody was loving it when Sancho pinned that tweet on Twitter, right, and held it there. So I'm enjoying this moment, and long may it continue. And let's see what Slot's made of. He came on TV, said, "Yeah." People said that I've lost my authority. Well, the authority shows Salah's not hearing it, so he better win because you can only talk like that when you're winning. That's all I'm gonna say. So let's see what Slot's made of. And he just put a whole heap of pressure on Isak and Wirtz. Let me just tell you that right now. That's my viewpoint.
Yeah. No, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned Isak and Wirtz because Gakpo is now injured for a number of weeks. There's no way Salah. I don't see Salah like playing for the club anytime soon. Plus, he's lost off AFCON anyway. He might be done with the club. So you've now got a situation where Chiesa is going to have to finally get minutes, but Isak is going to have to step up, as is Wirtz. Ekitike has been doing bits anyway. So you're now minus Salah, minus Gakpo. It's now on Wirtz, Isak, Ekitike, Chiesa. Let's see how they perform. But speaking of perform, I just want to now transition to the last club we're going to speak about. And it's not Man City. It's not Chelsea. We're going to touch on United because you guys have brilliant results. What?
I think about 2 points on four
again. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gav, and then we'll reach United.
I rate what Mo did. I think players need to do that sort of thing. The thing we do like, as football fans, I think we forget that this is these lots' jobs. Yeah, obviously we're passionate about our teams. We're entertained and all the rest of it. If my manager's taking the piss out of me, and that's my opinion, that's how I see it, and I have a platform to speak up, and it's going to do, isn't what he's done is the equivalent of going to HR, in my opinion. Like it may be public, but he's telling people that I don't understand. We speak about men's mental health and all the rest of it. Bro thinks he could be going through it. So he's wrong for speaking up. No one should speak against the club. You think them people give a fuck about him? Really and truly, like they're the strategy. What they're thinking, what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is get one out so they can get another one in because shit's hitting the fan. This guy don't come out and speak often. I get it. Why that you can spin that one way, but you can spin it the other way. He only comes out to speak when he's got something to say. So why is he speaking now? Like, what is going on? Why is this man just woke up today and said he's going to say something? People don't look at these things. They just want to go with whatever like is being said by by the powers that be, by the media, as far as I'm concerned. Because I'm looking at like last season, you was here killing yourself to win this trophy, and you did. You got your contract, cool. Like, why would you sign a contract for a club that you were then going to shit on by Christmas? It don't make sense. What's gone on? They've signed all these players. He's saying that promises were made to him. Promises were probably made to him before he signed the last few years of his career at the level where he's playing at away. So what's happened? Why are we not asking these questions? And then you got Carragher. He's just a dickhead, isn't it? Like, let's call a spade a spade. Let's stop pretending because we're worried who's good. Like, he's a dickhead. He chats shit. And the fact of the matter is that if you're falling in line with Liverpool, the thing that I've realized with Liverpool and Liverpool fans since the last season, it really bugged me how they started to dismiss Klopp just to say that Slot was the guy that did it. Like, are you serious? Because now, like I said, beginning of the season, it's all going to fall apart because he was moving away from what he was gifted. Yeah. And I've had fans basically say that Klopp had nothing to do with that victory. He didn't manage to win it. This, that, and the other. I'm thinking, what? You lot are really turning your back. Look what they did to Trent. Trent's this. Trent ain't great. Like, you lot were telling me he's the best right back in the world a few months ago, but now because he wants to go and so you think they're not going to do that to Salah? They're all the same. Like, it's like a cult in that club, as far as I'm concerned. They turn on their legends. They turn on the people that have done the most for them, and Salah's just another victim. And I respect the guy for speaking up. He weren't disrespectful. He could have been a lot worse. He didn't cause any trouble as far as I could see. I'm sure he was asked a question and he was given the answer. I can't wrong him for that.
The bit that makes me laugh is that they say you'll never walk alone. And then they leave them out there. The Trent one pissed me off. Still.
No, you've all made some good points. Yeah, no, you've all made some good points, and it's funny you mentioned that, Cyril, about you never walk alone, because that is their club like motto. Yeah, you know, as Gavin has said, you know, this is a club that is throwing legends under the bus. But let's let's transition to United now. You guys have had a good result this weekend, back in the title race now. Only 8, I think it's 8 points. I think you're 8 points off first place now, so back in the title race.
Touching distance.
No, let's come to you first on touching this. Let's come to you first on this one, right? So you've beaten Wolves away 4-1, looking good. You know, Amorim back on track. What's your thoughts and feelings on United as of late? And is that 65-point margin that you set for them, is that back on track now?
All right. So I don't know. I still don't understand, even with all the recordings that we've done, that you can easily go back in time, where you still get the 65 from. 15 points every quarter was what the statement was. I don't, even if you do maths, the most basic, get what your kids do, get out to do the maths, they'll tell you that 60 points come the end of the season. Right? I don't know how many times we have to go through this. What I will say to you is that we've got 4 games to get 5 more points to maintain that target that I set. So I'm very happy with how we're progressing, and it means as long as we're motoring along like that, I'm more than happy to give Amorim another season. That's it. That's all we have to do, bare minimum. What do I think? Honestly, look, Gavin said he turned the TV off when he watched the game. I'll tell you right now, I was concerned, and I still can't believe that we couldn't keep a clean sheet against this one. And do you know what's bizarre? We are conceding the goals that are being scored against us. I think I saw a stat. It's the lowest XG, the chances, the lowest XG in the league. It's apart from Man City and what Brentford did to us. It's mad, the goals that we're conceding. Against Ten Hag, we were getting 20 shots a game against us, and we conceded less than what we're conceding now. I don't understand, right? We were playing Wolves, and I ain't even gonna lie to you. At half time, I was like, man.
Night, can I ask a question?
Yep.
Is Onana still the problem then?
Yeah, he was throwing the ball in the back of the net.
So the other night, was he the problem?
No, it was a wicked finish. There was no saving that goal. But no, it was a wicked finish. No. I'm not blaming the goalkeeper. It was a wicked finish. That's what I'm saying. The percentage chance of that goal that shot going in was like 0.4.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, and we're conceding these kinds of goals, like this small XG percentage chance of going in. This is mad. No, I still think that honestly, I think that we played poorly. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that their defense was just was diabolical, and they made us look great. But any half decent team, if Wolves had done what Everton did against us for 10 men, that would have finished 1-1. That's the honest truth. I think I don't. What do you think, Cyril? Because when I watch Mbumo, I think that's someone who already looks like, considering we're playing once a week, that he's running out a bit out of legs. I think he looks. I think the whole right hand side that we've been heavily relying on actually is looking really, really tired. They're going to AFCON. I think I'm nervous. I'm nervous of what we're going to look like. Sesko's injured, and this isn't about using injuries or anything like that. We just don't have the squad. He doesn't want. It's clear. It's quite clear he doesn't want to use our youth, which I find disappointing. I don't understand why we couldn't bring on Shea Lacey. 10 minutes to go, you're 4-1 up. Like, he could have silenced so many critics with that, right? When they're saying you don't trust the youth, right? By just playing him, and you would have had the fans on side, we all would have given them a chance, even if we had, 1-4-2, even 4-3. But him getting on the pitch changed the narrative that we trust the youth, and if when three of our top players go off to AFCON, we got a couple of young players. If we need to lean on them, who's got some Premier League experience, right? If anything happens to Zeski, one more attacking player, we're in trouble. I think we're in trouble now. If you want truth be told, that's why I'm just hoping that we get to 30 points before we hit 19 games, so I can at least say, okay, we hit another target and then move on. So, what do you think? But I don't think. I mean, when you look at it in itself, you're going to say, well, I think we're the first team to score 4 goals against Wolves in the actual Premier League. For as bad as they've been, no one's beaten them like as much as we've beaten them. I think maybe Man City got close. But no, I'm concerned.
Why I'm concerned? Before the goal happened, I was like,
just for clarity. Sorry to butt in there, Cyril. Sorry to butt in there, Cyril. Just for clarity, City did also first game of the season put 4 past them. So yeah, the 2 Manchester clubs have been the ones to do Wolves that way. And I will come to you after I just finish this point, Cyril. Again, sorry for butting in, but Nige, you mentioned about your points tally that you want. You need 5 points from your next 4 games. I think you mentioned it. Your next 3 games, okay. You've got Bournemouth, Aston Villa away, and then Newcastle at home. That's back to back. So that's 3 tough games, okay. You've then got Wolves again. I expect you to win that. But then after that, you've got Leeds, you've got Burnley, you've got City, and then you've got Arsenal. So in your next 8 games, I see 5 or 6 matches there that look tough on paper. And we all know football isn't played on paper, but your next 3 games, the Bournemouth, the Villa, the Newcastle, those look a little bit ropey on paper. So it'll be interesting to see how you guys come out of that run. Cyril, go ahead. Sorry for butting in.
But David, I would say that our team is funny. That the harder the team, the better that we have. I mean, we've already lost 1 game out of the last 9. Don't ask me how, right? But it seems when the teams come out to play, then it plays to our strengths so that we can play our counter-attacking football. The ones that hold back, and then we have to break them down, right, by using tactics and wizardry and mastery. Now we fail at that. So actually, the tougher the games, the better it is for us. Apart from Sunderland, Cyril, have you seen us? And in the end, this Wolves game, but in the end, so I'm not even going to include this game. Other than the Sunderland game, when have we had a standard win? Get on the pitch, play for 90 minutes, no dramas, 3 points, put that in the bank, move on.
Yeah, pretty much what I was going to say. Like, we make things just look difficult. Like, and it's like every time we, right, 2 wins. And we had games where we could have at least won at least 2. We look completely different in terms of league position. It's so crazy. But every time we got close, we just do some. I just don't get it. And then for me, Amorim, again, I don't want to I don't know what to say about him, man, because like sometimes when he makes those changes around the 60th minute, 70th minute, or whatever, you see that just affects the balance of the team, and then before you know it, we're giving goals away and we're dropping things away, and it's like I don't know what he's trying to manage and and a lot of the one thing also I don't understand is always changing the defense. Like you don't like I've never seen managers do so many changes it's like it's almost a given that every game he's going to change the defense.
But why you're 4-1 up? Why did you need to? You see, Heaven. Do you know 36? What was it? But all 100% pass completion, 100% aerial duels won, 100% ground duels won. Everything that came with him, he won. Right, and this was great for him after what happened in the previous game, right, when he got hooked at halftime, which I agree with, by the way, in the previous game. But in this one, he was on course for being up there with Mount for man of the match and Fernandes. So why was that substitution needed, other than instead of playing Lacey or giving one of our attacking players some minutes in the legs when we're gonna need them when Mbeumo and Ahmed go?
That's what I mean. It's like decisions like that. I'm seeing it happen, and I'm like, this is actually happening, right? But it's just the games, like you just said just now, like, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. You don't enjoy the whole match. You don't enjoy it. There's going to be periods where you just, here we go again. And I'm like, when they drew, I'm like, please don't do this. Why? And then when it came back, I was like, okay, but I'm feeling like that against Wolves. Why am I feeling like that? They had 2 points. 2 points, bro. I know. Why am I feeling? Why am I getting like that? Old Trafford. No, it was that Old Trafford. It was that.
No, it wasn't theirs. But still, I know. Like, but all I kept thinking, at half time, I thought, man, we got to do this podcast. Like, Lord, and Arsenal have lost. Please don't do this to me.
Yeah, it's not been fun watching the games. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. And we know we can score, but we know they can also score. So, like, it's just uneasy at this moment. But again, the most important thing is the points are tallying up. We've created a little bit of difference between us and the actual champions right now. That's in Liverpool. But again, we're moving in the right direction. We can only play what's in front of us. Like Bournemouth game, can we win that game? Yes. Will we win that game? I don't know.
Don't know. Yeah. What do you think of Cunha right now? Do you think he looks rusty? He looks rusty, right?
He is, and also when players are just, when he was, I knew this was gonna happen. When he was at Wolves, he could pretty much do whatever he wants to do. Remember, like where Bruno can move everywhere and whatever. I think and he was the main guy. I think now he's trying to figure out where it fits in. I think it's kind of similar to Ishak actually. Like I'm seeing Ishak in places that I just wouldn't have naturally expected him to be. When he's got the ball, I'm thinking it should be further ahead on, but then he's like so I think the same thing with Cunha. I think he's just trying a lot, and then he's just not got that connection yet. The connection is still not there. There's no vibe. Actually, one thing I was gonna say was on the right hand side, I was just trying to I don't know what I'm seeing from what's his name? The 2 boys on the right.
Ahmed Mbeumo.
Yeah, Mbeumo and what's his name?
Ahmed Diallo.
Yeah. Just I don't know. I just was expecting them to just do more and be more lethal, and it just seems like they're still coming back on each other, and I don't know. I'm just not feeling that. I'm just not feeling how it's there, but it's not there. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I see it as well. One other thing. Do you think? Are you hoping, or what do you think? Do you think we will push Bruno up and play Mainu in the midfield when they go for AFCON? No, right? But do you think he will play Mainu in the 10? Do you?
I just don't know what he. I just right now I'm so confused about that situation there that I just don't know if he will even play. I think it will be kind of that Mo Salah moment when you're like, what do I need to do for you to play me at this moment in time? Because the game might scream that you need to play me, but I just don't think he will. But again, we and I think and it's not even, I don't think he will. I think he'll even play Ugarte, maybe before,
I know, but yeah, exactly. He's been on Ugarte before. Man, this guy we just can't see him on the pitch again, man. Like, just
Yeah.
stop. Like, and
It's
if
not that
Casemiro gets injured, I'm not coming on the podcast. So that's it.
Bro.
I'm pinning everything on Casemiro.
Injuries, all red card, bro. All red card. Every time he goes in for a
Yeah.
tackle, please don't tackle. Don't do a Scolesy. Shit, them tackles.
Yeah. What do you see, David? That's it from Man United fans. What do you see?
Right, on that note, gents, I'm going to end the show there. Right, I was just about to end the show there, but what I will say is this. Okay, is that I kind of agree with what you've said, Nige, in that you guys are a funny club. Like, it's like you play to the level of your opponents. So in them hard games, like, I know you guys are going to bring it. Like, yes, there's more risk of you guys losing, but you guys are going to bring it. Especially someone like Bruno, like, his performances just go through the roof. The higher the competition, the higher and the better he plays. Not everyone's like that, but as a team, it's like your manager's more switched on with what he's trying to do and the way you guys kind of play. You kind of feel to me like you're a team that will soak up the punch, and then when it's time, we're gonna lay one on you, like you're a counter puncher. So when you're playing teams that want to come and press you and attack you and this, that, and the other, it plays into their hands. But when you're forced to now be the ones that are on the front foot against the lesser teams, you guys seem to outside of the first 45 against Wolves yesterday, you guys seem to play down to the level of your opposition. So it's a funny one. That's why I read out those fixtures where you've got the Bournemouth, you've got the Villa, you've got the Newcastle back to back to back. So it'll be interesting to see how you guys come through that, because I'm hoping at the very least you get something against Villa, because they're making me sweat, like, with how they're suddenly in a fucking title race out of nowhere, for fuck's sake. But in saying that, I your sentiment. You guys, Gav will hate me for saying this, right? But you guys have the ingredients of a very, very good team. You really, really genuinely do. And I see the threats that you guys have. And I see the summer coming, and the summer coming worries me, because if you guys make the signings that I believe are on the table for you guys, it's going to be a problem for my mental health when I've got Cyril in my ear every day in that fucking group. Yeah. So I'm talking about names like Wharton. I'm talking about like strikers like, possibly Mateta. I was even saying to Robert that I can kind of see, if Kane wants to come back to the Premier League, maybe there's an opportunity there for United to step in and let Sesko mature a little bit more. So this season, I think you guys will be all right. The summer, depending on what you guys do, that's what I'm worried about. Especially when Nigel, you so rightly pointed out that this summer cycle, or the start of this, or the end of this season cycle, begins the new FFP for you guys, where all of that money comes in. So yeah, at the United, recent performance, but that's all in the future. Like, so many clubs we've seen a team as champions spend 500 million and look worse. So yeah, there's always that caveat. But you guys have the makings of a very good team, and it is worrying. As an Arsenal fan, it is genuinely worrying, because if you guys click, you have a very, very vocal fan base that I can't get away from, because there's a lot of you in my personal life, and I don't want to see it, but I think it's coming, and I think it's coming quicker than a lot of us were prepared for.
But for now,
yeah, game by game.
That's it, man.
I am going to end the show there. We've got a very, very good round of fixtures coming up next week. We've got United playing again on Monday. This time you're at home to Bournemouth, but we've also got Liverpool playing Brighton, and that's going to be a very good match. We've got Chelsea playing Everton. That's going to be a good match. We've got Arsenal with a very, very tough home fixture against Wolves. Potential banana peel there. But the big one for me, we've got the Tyne Weir derby with Sunderland and Newcastle, and then we've also got Man City away to Palace. So it could be an interesting result there. So yeah, we'll reconvene again probably on the Sunday.
Yep. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, bro, United, man.
Pain.
You know what? It's hard to just talk to these like, yeah, but bro, the pain that I feel. I don't even care where we are right now. The pain that I feel, like, if we fucking won some of those games, bro, do you know where we would be?
I know, bro. That 2-2 against Spurs when we should have won. And then we draw straight after that, man. We'll be in the title race. I don't know. That's something to say to Gavin, isn't it? But like,
I'm just hoping. But the thing is, you know what I'm doing? I'm actually genuinely hoping that we just continue to just pick up these points, and then let's see where we go in. I'm not saying obviously title race, but I'm just like, because I know what Dave just said. I know Gavin knows that too, and I know he's thinking that too. He would never admit it because he could never admit it. But I know he's thinking it, and that's the only thing that But we'll see. Do you know what? I don't think Arsenal will win the league. I don't think they will.
No, I can't see Haaland letting them win it.
I don't think they'll win the league. But this guy's telling me like I'm not going to bet because they could win the league, but I don't think they will win the league. There's a difference,
Yeah, I don't think it, but there's a chance, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Why would I bet? Like, because I'm saying that doesn't mean I actually believe that they will win. I'm just like, there's the possibility. So possibility means I don't want to. But yeah, man.
And I don't think Man United will get top 4. So it wasn't a good bet.
So that's what I'm
bet me 60 points, and then I'll go for that.
Man, I didn't want to know that.
Man. I was like, this. You said you were going to win the league. I said 60 points. So bet me on what I said, and I'll bet you on what you said.
Yeah, that's what you should say to him next time.
That's what I was trying to say. I said, why didn't you go by what I said?
Yeah,
and then I'll bet you what you said.
I'm gonna bring that up. See,
yeah, that was it. That's what I was saying. All right, you said from the first day of the season, Arsenal are going to win it. I said I want us to get 60 points.
Yeah, perfect. So the same question. So I'm gonna put it out there because technically, if you don't take the bet on that, then that means he thinks that we're gonna do what you said we were gonna do, based on his logic. The thing is, I like using his own logic against him, but it tells me I'm waffling. But I'm using his logic. I love it. I got to bounce anyway, bro.
Yeah, me too.
Easy. Have a good night.
All right, you too, bro.